Selma and Aya Adam have lived in Al-Fashir, the capital city of North Darfur state, for their entire lives. They fled the violence in the city with their children 3 weeks ago when RSF fighters took control of the city.
I've displaced many times during the siege, from El Fashir to a nearby village and from that village to El Fashir again after the RSF has burnt all of the villages around the city. I left with my children to a place very far from the war, but many other members of the family are still there, and I'm so worried about them. War has destroyed our lives.
In western Sudan, Darfur is no longer just a battleground. It has become the center of power for the Rapid Support Forces, a place where the group now runs its own administration, economy, and military structure. What began as territorial gains for the RSF has evolved into a parallel state, reshaping the country's political map. This consolidation of power is backed by a military command that operates independently from Sudan's national army. Fighters patrol Darfur's towns and rural corridors, while senior RSF leaders oversee political and security decisions. The area now functions as the group's main operational hub, with supply routes that stretch into Libya, Chad, and Central Sudan. In towns it controls, the RSF has appointed its own administrators, issued local directives, and assumed policing duties in the absence of state institutions.
RSF's goal is not only to control Al Fashir, but also achieve a democratic change in the region by rebuilding an empire for Arab tribes. This endeavor is a decades-long dream that seeks to control the wealth of Darfur and empower tribes linked to the RSF in other African countries. Their ultimate goal is to partition Sudan.
But the expansion of RSF's authority in the Darfur region has come at an enormous cost for civilians. Entire communities have fled their homes, escaping violence, forced taxation, killings, and insecurity. Rights groups and the UN have accused RSF fighters of carrying out arbitrary executions and forced displacement of civilians in Darfur. The RSF has denied doing that. Aid agencies say Darfur is one of the most difficult regions for humanitarian access. Convoys face roadblocks, communication blackout, and the threat of armed groups operating with little restraint. Analysts monitoring the conflict and local networks say RSF governance is becoming increasingly structured, despite criticism of its fighters over their abuse of civilians. They point to new administrative buildings, fortified bases, and the steady flow of vehicles and goods crossing borders under RSF control. All signs, they say, that the group is embedding and aiming to ensure long-term authority. For displaced families like Adams, this emerging order brings more uncertainty. Many fear it will further fragment Sudan and make any lasting national political settlement harder to reach. Naba Muhiddin, CGTN.